established American mangaka. This is my series right here, Sacred. You can check it out on my website, sacredthemanga.com. And today I'm going to welcome you to part 3 of my How to Make Manga series. As promised, I told you guys I'd do this. You guys kept demanding it, and here it is. The day has finally arrived! Here in part 3, I'm going to show you guys step by step how you can go about planning each panel of your manga. Now, I want to make it very clear that in today's episode, we're simply going to be covering the storyboard step of planning out your pages, which means we're going to be reading our scripts, making little mental images of what it is we want our panels to be showing, and then we're going to go ahead and start sketching them out. This is a very useful and widely used technique by published authors and amateurs alike. And before you get started, please be sure that you have your scripts on hand. And if you do not have a script, please be sure to watch my first How to Make Manga video, which will teach you how to get your writing done and how to make scripts. And before we get started, I want to explain that a manga page should have no more than 6 or 7 panels on the entire page. And now the reason for this is we don't want the page to be really crowded. We don't want it to be too word heavy. We don't want to scare away any readers. We want it to flow very nicely. So no more than 6 or 7 panels per page. They can have less, but they should not have more. So without further ado, let us begin the tutorial. Okay, so what you'll need to get started are a couple of things. One, you'll need some computer paper, which if you watched my previous video, you know that I like to do all of my manga sketches and all my planning on computer paper because it is very inexpensive. You could buy an entire pack for like $1 or so at Staples. And you'll also need your script. Now, if you watched my previous video, you'll already know how to make your own script. But if you don't have a script, you can watch my previous videos and learn how to make one yourself. And as I recommended in my other videos, before you even start drawing out your pages, before you even make any plans, you need to make sure that you have a minimum of 10 chapters already planned out. In script form, you need to be okay with them. You need to be ready to commit to your scripts before ever planning out your pages, because you don't want to be, a whole chapter in and realize, oh shoot, I want to make some changes now. So plan ahead. What you see here are 6 little squares. They don't need to be perfect. They just need to exist so that you can sketch inside of them, and also leave some space below them so that you can make little notes on maybe the shading or camera angles and things like that. Like I recommended in my other video, reread your scripts, make little notes on the side, like start sketching out maybe what you would like the characters to be doing in certain scenes. So use that as reference. It'll really get the script really clear in your mind before you sit down and start doing this scene. So, the scene that we're going to be working on is from the very first chapter of my manga series. So I've already drawn out the completed pages and published it already, but I'm going to show you how I planned out the pages, okay? So, in this scene, it's the very beginning of the story. It's the character introductions. So in this scene, Cicero lifts up the blanket to reveal his best friend, who is underneath the quilt, reading a not so appropriate magazine. So let me see. The script says here, he's narrating, he's introducing his friend, saying, and this is Shiko, my roommate. So I know that I want to show Cicero's little surprised face. So you really have to think about what you want the panel to look like. Really think about, if you were watching an anime, what the camera angles would be. So I want him to just be in a little chibi version, just kind of like, okay, what the heck did I just walk into? His little hair is a little messed up. 1, because it's the morning. 2, because what he just saw kind of is messing with his mind. Here's his little chibi fists. Here's the blanket. And his little shirt coming off his shoulders. And to kind of like show that awkward pause, I want these little dots in the background. It kind of just shows like, time passing and, this is an awkward moment. And because he's introducing his friend, I want one of those little rectangles, and it would say, and this is Shiko. And this is where it would say that. And now we're going to show what he revealed under the blanket. And I want it to be like kind of like a full body of his friend. Notice how I'm not really putting a lot of detail into what I'm drawing. It's just a little sketch so that I can get an overall idea. Here's his little magazine on his lap. He's holding it. Here's his arm. He's pretty surprised that he just got caught reading this. So, and also I could imagine he's a little hot and bothered because of what he was reading. So I'm putting the little, the little huffs just to kind of show the heavy breathing. And he's still being introduced. So here it says, and this is Shiko. And this one would say, my roommate. And so this is what's happening so far. And now I know that in the next scene, Sessro is going to be confronting him about, not really confronting him, but waking him up, and Shiko is going to be, is going to try his best to kind of explain what has happened. So I want the two of them to be facing each other. I still want it to be comical, so I want to keep them in a little chibi versions. This one's going to be Shiko holding his little magazine, and he looks really worried. The little mouth all open like, oh my gosh, it's not what you think. Little knees. And here's Sessro, his eyes closed, and he's like, you know what? I don't even need an explanation. Please don't even tell me what you were doing. I don't need to know. And you know what? I want his little hand to be up, his little chibi hand, kind of like, you know what? I'm just gonna stop you right there. And at this point he's saying, well, Shiko's saying, well, you see, I can explain. So, being that, remember, manga goes from right to left. So Shiko is on this side, but I can't put his speech bubbles here. So his speech bubbles need to be over here. So that's going to be pointing at him. And this is where his little explanation is going to be. And Sessro was like, you know what, don't even tell me, because then I'll be forced to kill you. And for Sessro's speech bubble, because he's on the opposite side, I'm not going to put a pointer. That's just going to be way too messy. There's just a pointer for Shiko, and this one is not pointing to anybody, so we already know that belongs to Sessro. So now we're moving on to the next scene. Now the next scene is Sessro's about to brush his teeth, and he realizes they don't have any water. Probably because Shiko forgot to pay the water bill. So, I'm going to show this faucet because I don't want people to get confused and just see Sessro brushing his teeth out of nowhere. So, to show that we are in a different room, I'm just going to draw the sink. Here are the knobs, really sloppy. Here's the faucet, really sloppy. Don't worry about what it looks like. They're just sketches. And I want to draw Sessro's hand over here really quickly. That is like the ugliest hand on the planet because, you know what, it's a sketch. But he's opening it, but how would we ever know that no water's coming out and that's surprising? I'm going to add a speech bubble pointing to his hand, and I'm going to put a question mark. And that's going to signify, hold on, what's supposed to happen isn't happening. So you see that? And right afterwards, I want to show his really, really surprised face. So this one is going to be a little bit more close up. Just draw some wonky eyes, his little surprised mouth. He's going to be kind of hunched over the sink, holding his toothbrush. And I want him to be like, huh? And because I want this to kind of be like a bit of a glamour shot for no apparent reason, just to make it more dramatic, I'm going to kind of like make him gray. So I'm doing this so that I know I have to put gray tone over him. And After this, we go on to the next scene. To show how loud he's going to scream out Shiko's name, I want to show the outside of their building. So this will be their window. Here's some brick, blah blah blah, bricks, bricks, stones, stones, and some trees, and him screaming, Shiko! And that is how we do it. Go through each scene, think about what you want the angles to look like, think about what you want the viewer to feel. Do you want them to laugh? We're going to use chibis. Are we going to make it more dramatic and add a little bit of gray over it? And in this case, his voice was so loud it could be heard from outdoors when he screamed out his roommate's name. So I showed the great outdoors, showed the outside of their building, and this big old name right there. So that is how you go step by step to plan out your pages. And that's how it's done. So please like and subscribe for more tutorials, because don't forget, next week we're going to be showing you how to do the next step in episode 4 of my How to Make Manga videos, where I'll be showing you how to take your thumbnail images, figure out how you want your panels to be laid out, so it can eventually look like this. So if you found this video helpful, please like, and if you'd like to see that video that I just told you I was going to post next week, please subscribe so that you won't miss any of the fun. I hope the tutorial was super helpful for you guys. Also, please check out my website, sacreddemanga.com, so that you can read my story for free, and I hope you'll support my story as well. Follow me on social media to see artwork from me every day. And until next Thursday, guys, please take care, God bless, and do not be afraid to nerd out. Don't be afraid to nerd! Oh my gosh. Bye, guys.